Hello world, this is Kimberly and Connor Tracy over here at Big Red SEO. We hope you are doing fantastic on this beautiful Friday. We're a tad bit later than normal because we've been super having fun in projects. We had a couple calls scheduled this morning as well as the afternoon. So we do appreciate the flexibility of you guys tuning in now a little bit later. We are here and we are having a blast.
Hi guys.
I think he's testing. Are you done testing?
I'm done testing.
Testing. We've got more testing. More
testing.
Cool. So today we actually wanted to piggyback on our episode last week. So if you tuned in last week, we were talking about Google My Business, right? This is kind of important. If you don't have a listing, it's actually free. You can get an account. There are certain features and functionalities that if you can go in and set it up, you can actually get bonus points regarding SEO, right? The Google My Business, it's a little bit different than your actual website. It is part of an SEO process. So if you are doing an SEO campaign, the Google My Business listing will help. The only difference is that it's very trendy right now that if you have a Google My Business listing, that your businesses might actually go directly and contact you directly, so self-service, versus actually hitting your website at all. Not necessarily a bad thing, but if you are that person that's like, hey, I'm trying to grow my online presence, and you're paying attention to analytics, site visits, how long somebody's on your website, just make sure that you're also looking at the analytics of the Google My Business, because it does have an influence. But today we actually wanted to talk about actually putting a scheduler inside of your Google My Business page and listing, right? Mm-hmm. People that this would be really ideal for is anybody that actually sets appointments and or doesn't want to talk to somebody on the phone, right? Like they just want somebody to be able to book. So whether it's a hairdresser, a yoga studio, mechanic, a restaurant, a gym, a massage.
Maybe not a mechanic.
Depending if it's an oil change and you have a schedule for that and there's somebody specific that does oil change, I would think that a basic oil change actually could be scheduled.
Maybe not an oil change in Google My Business.
Okay, so mechanic might be off the plate. So if you have questions on that, feel free to reach out. But the thought process is within your sales process, if you have a service it's where somebody can look at a calendar, pick a date and time, it's going to be ideal to figure out, okay, how do we use scheduler inside of the Google My Business listing? Mm-hmm. I actually looked at some stats and I kind of hesitate giving them because I can't find where they were sourced. I know what companies and what surveys, but I don't have dates. So I don't really want to share that. But what I can say is that based on experience for us, being end users ourselves as well as clients, a lot of people will click and call from a Google My Business listing. So if your business has the process of setting appointments, you kind of just shave some time off and shave the awkwardness off, right? This is very popular for local businesses specifically. If somebody's within a community and they're like, oh, I've got, like I think of the salt tanks here in Omaha, they have schedulers inside their thing, and then they have times that the float tanks are available. So you can just click, go, convert, and then all of a sudden you're booked for that time. So you can hop in the car and basically head down the street to go get it. I know right now things are a little bit weird because a lot of places are not open just yet, but the scheduler can help if you're even doing Zoom videos and Zoom meetings. Yep. A lot of the healthcare provider services, they've kind of switched to appointments, or what do they call it?
It's called telehealth.
Telehealth, right? And a lot of those are being classified and covered under insurance. So there's certain regulations that they have to meet, as well as make sure that all their T's are crossed and their I's are dotted for that. But at the end of the day, the scheduler is going to save you time. Now, if you don't have a scheduler, you don't do appointments, it's okay. You can actually do a contact us button, or you can do some kind of action button to be able to get the end user's attention. And really what you're looking for, guys, is not just to save time for the end users, right? And to save time for you, but you're actually looking at, okay, how can I make my page look a little bit, my Google My Business listing, how can I make it look a little bit different than everybody else's that they're landing on? So when you have this stuff filled out, guys, like it's going to help you because visually somebody's going to say, oh, I've never seen a button there before. What is that? Or they actually want to do it themselves. A lot more people are self-efficient. And I can tell you there's a high percentage of people that if you have your information filled out and they get the answers, they will book the appointment. You don't even have to sell it. So who doesn't want business that you don't even have to sell or attempt to sell?
Mm-hmm. And more so in the last year, maybe 2 years, whatever, there's more people that want to book and not talk to a person ever again.
Ever again. Which is kind of but I get it.
It's the thing that drives me crazy at, like, I'm going to say can I say a brand name?
Go ahead.
Here we go. So the thing that drives me crazy at Applebee's is they have those kiosk things that come out to the table. It sits on the table. You can order your stuff directly from that. You can get your drinks. You can pay your bill. All that stuff's all handled there. You never actually have to talk to a server that comes around.
Right.
And that's good and bad. I like it from the convenience end of things of just pay your bill on there if the machine works, because half the time we use it, it doesn't fucking work. But
Connor gets pretty passionate.
Yeah, I like the convenience factor of that, but the interaction part, I think it's going to be even more so now. There'll be less and less interaction with people, but certainly from the web end of things, making appointments, clicking those buttons to schedule those appointments.
Yeah.
People would rather do that than pick up the phone and say, so do you have availability?
Yeah.
You know, it's an annoyance.
I totally agree with that. So here's the thing is I'm going through and I'm inviting people in Facebook to come and watch live, right? So if you get an invite and you join us, thank you. But I was blowing through here. So I see we have CPAs that own their own business. That's ideal for scheduling, guys. Mm-hmm. Hairdressers, of course. Real estate agents would be ideal for home showing if you have specific times that you show a house, right? Now, I understand it can kind of get logistic of when do I have access to the house? So you might have to update the calendar. There might be a little bit of management there. But if you do this process right, you can actually create a grid schedule where you can just rinse and repeat and fill in and fill out, right? Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things that why not use it? It's free. Now, let's jump into, okay, you decide you want to do a calendar schedule inside of your Google My Business. Connor, what are the options people can use?
Funny you ask, Kim.
Yeah. Did you just say it and I didn't hear it?
No.
He was making fun of my script. A script, not script.
A non-scripted script intro. There's a number of different providers you can use. So Google has their own partnerships with lots of different, oh crap. My phone picked up, sorry. They have lots of partnerships with providers. So you had mentioned like the nail salons and hairdressers and things like that. And I've got it up here on my screen. I'm not going to share it because it is what it is. But places like Mindbody, you use that a lot because it's with yoga studios and massage places and stuff like that. But all the other stuff like Easydiner is on here, Show Pass is in here, TableCheck, any of the things for the restaurants. They've got a list of different partnerships that they've done. So if you go to google.com, that's google.com/maps/reserve. In there, it'll list out all the partnerships they have and what systems integrate automatically with Google that you don't have to do anything. Once you sign up with Mindbody, for example, they're going to push your stuff out to the Google My Business page. As long as you set that up, that link you have to set up over on Google My Business. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Yes. Mm-hmm. You put you log into your provider like Mindbody. You then provide the link to Google My Business, and they will push the information over there. And the appointments, set the schedules and times, that'll all show on there automatically. Similarly, on a Google My Business page at the bottom, generally there's links to social media places. Your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram. Those all come in automatically. You don't have to put anything in there to say, here's my thing. In fact, there's not even an area that you could put something in. Google has to find that on their own. Right. So with all that said, there's a lot of places that are still yet to be added to the list, but you can go in and look at the providers and see it. But if you're in one of those industries, like the hair salons or the bars or restaurants and so forth, inside of Google My Business, on the left-hand side, there's a section called Bookings. And inside of that, you just enable that, and now your bookings link is enabled, okay? If you do not have a bookings system provider, you can still use the appointment URL, and that's what we use on ours.
Yep.
Okay, so for the appointment URL, you just put in where you want the form to go. Maybe it goes to your Contact Us page. Maybe it goes out into Calenderly.
Calenderly.
Where people can schedule an appointment from there. But essentially, it's a link to an area that you can then set the appointments. So you don't have to be using all these big providers. There are some caveats in there in that if you're in an industry like locksmith, for example,
right,
you may not have the ability to set an appointment. So there are certain industries where Google is not allowing those links to go through. Google does not provide a full list of what they do and do not do. So you just got to log in and see if it's there.
So that might be the reason why you said mechanic with oil change might not be appropriate because
Correct.
It's a mechanic. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Generally with the mechanic end of things, there's so much more than just scheduling a 15-minute or scheduling a 30-minute.
Yeah.
So it may or may not show up. It depends on the area. It depends on the industry. So
well, and here's the other thing too right now, right? So like the elephant in the room, there's a lot of places they cannot take customers right now, or they have to have a set number of customers. If you're one of the businesses that has a set number of customers and you do scheduling, why not put that link into your website and get your calendar filled? And then once you're maxed out on your calendar, then they pick a different date and you could be booked out 30, 45 days out into the future, right? Mm-hmm. The other caveat is some people might be like, well, I don't want to mess with any of that right now because I don't know where I am in business wise. Here's what I can tell you. I get it. I understand it. And I do have sympathy if you are going through that. It's not an excuse to stop your business. At the end of the day, you actually want people to convert, especially with your ideal clients. So again, if you can lean forward and make it super easy for them to be able to schedule whatever they need to schedule, if you're a schedule-based business, why not do that, right? It stops I have one individual that's like, I'm not doing that. I just text people back and forth. Here's what happens is it stops the ping pong back and forth. Are you available this date? Are you available this date? Are you available this time? Are you available this time? Boom, 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 right? They can actually just go in and actually click it and pick from their plethora of what you have available. Why not do that? Why not save the time?
And that's one of the reasons that we have used in the past, and sometimes now, but mainly in the past, we use Calenderly because it would integrate with Google Calendar and you could set your time slots and you could even collect payments before a meeting if you want to go down that road.
Yep. It's a huge fan. Like for me, what I do, and most times I lean that way. And I kind of like broke my own rule for a while. So like if somebody gets referred to us, then I give them a little bit more of okay, you can have access to my calendar, not a big deal. Ping pong back and forth, mainly because it was a referral, right? So it's kind of like a white glove. So-and-so sent you, okay, awesome, you're part of our tribe, let's go. Not to say that a prospect walking off the street's not important, that's not it. It's a different calibration, right?
Did you feel the walk back?
Yeah, no, and it's not even a walk back, right? So if somebody contacts us and says, hey, like, what's your pricing start at? They're just shopping to figure out where am I at? Versus usually when we get a referral from someone, they say, hey, I've got a friend or so-and-so sent me your direction. This is what I need. Here's the scope of work. Let's go,
and
right?
There's a learning process and there's a familiarity process then at that point.
Yep. So there's a little bit of a difference for sure. But like, so say that you're a massage therapist or a photographer, that would be a great scheduling app opportunity, right? Say you're a financial advisor and you offer free consultations. Why not open your calendar? Say that you always have Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays open for 9 appointments. Again, taking into consideration, I'm talking about the future when everything opens up and you can actually take in person, or maybe you do the video meetings. Yep. Why not?
You can set some of those calendar systems that it'll send out the virtual video links. You know, we use Zoom and we use Google Meet or on the business accounts with Google Meet. So it'll send either one of those depending on what it is we're doing or what it is we're talking about or what the client is. Sometimes they're going to be on a computer, sometimes they're going to be on a phone. So
correct.
Those things are all determined within our call, I guess.
Now, sometimes we get the kickback of whenever we talk about schedulers, somebody's like, well, I don't want it to be automated, then it's not personalized, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. We get it. We personally like getting a phone call and we like connecting with the person. However, you can do both. If somebody actually wants to talk to you on the phone, they're going to dial the number, which happens to go right above where the schedule appointment happens. So you actually give them the option of what do you want to do? I would not recommend removing your phone number and only having the schedule button. Offer both and actually pick up the phone and talk to people, right? There's a lot of businesses, especially small businesses, are like, I don't want to talk to people on the phone. I prefer email. Well, unfortunately, that's not the way a lot of clients are or customers. And depending on how many zeros are on each of those tickets of whatever you sell, product or service wise, a phone call is usually the due diligence that needs to happen, if that makes sense. Any other things to add for scheduling?
On the scheduling, no.
Yeah.
That's basically it. Google My Business. More and more people are seeing the knowledge panel and the information right there without ever going to the website. So take advantage of those areas and double check if that URL is available for you. And if it is, at least link it to your Contact Us page. Right. Even if you don't have a custom page. But, I would, at a minimum, do that.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add for this episode, Connor?
Yeah, I got 1,000 things I want to talk about, but some of it you can read on the blog. But there were a few different things that happened just this week. Earlier this week, on Monday, Google released the May Core Update 2020, or the Core Update May 2020, whatever the wording was. But essentially, this was the big update. They had one in January, they had one in August or September time. So this is now the one for May, the second quarter. We're unsure, and the community as a whole is unsure just how big this was and what it's actually targeting or what it's actually affecting. That information probably won't come out for another 2 weeks after everything settles down. The rollout happens over a 1 to 2 week period. So it'll be at least 2 weeks before we get stats as to what moved up and what moved down. What I can tell you is the industries that we're tracking, the systems that are on there, we are seeing movement back and forth, but we're seeing it go up one day and then down and then back up in the middle of the day the next day. So it's bouncing around. But there was a big update. Be aware of it. Don't freak out yet.
I was going to say, if you're that person that tracks daily and looks at your stats daily, let loose. Don't do it.
You can check and then go back 4 hours later and it's completely different. So we have a system that's running and it's tracking every 2 hours and moving things around. So, but we're part of a number of different communities, SEO communities, and everybody's tracking this. So that was a big one that was out there. There were two other big things. One was a big deal at GoDaddy. GoDaddy had a breach on their system. Back last year. They're only releasing the information now. It's been going on for a couple of months. The potential for the breach has been going on for a couple of months. They have confirmed on their end or verified on their end that there were no miscellaneous files uploaded or downloaded from users' accounts, or rather, nothing has been uploaded. They did not confirm if users had access to download files, these hackers or whatnot. But they have patched the areas that need to be done. They've changed passwords. They're contacting users. But it was a big deal. The other one that was out there, another big deal that happened, of course, was with Elementor, which is one of the page builders that we use. They had a potential exploit, which was reported. They then fixed it within a couple of hours. And the details of how that exploit might be used won't be released for another 14 to 30 days. So it was released under the there's a code of ethics that developers use that when we discover something or we discover a bug, you notify the developers first, give them a chance to fix everything, and then it's released as open information, usually 30 days later. So Elementor did have an issue, and so did one of the other Ultimate add-ons, I believe it was. But they've both patched that. We've patched our stuff with different clients and so forth. But if you are experiencing any issues or you do get an email from your hosting company, you do need to have a look at that and see were things updated.
Right.
So you got a little bit of time to fix it, but it is something that you need to fix.
And if we build a website design for you in Elementor and we have not reached out yet, feel free to reach out to us. I think we have everybody covered. However, if you fell through the cracks, we're so sorry. It's been busy 24 to 48 hours, but feel free to send an email. We'll get you taken care of.
Yep.
So other than that, guys, this is pretty much what we had to bring to you for today's episode. Next week, we're actually going to flip the script a little bit and do more coaching style. So if you're a small, medium-sized business and you need some either a swift kick in the butt or some inspiration or just need to gain some clarity on where are you going in your business and what do you need help with, you can actually have access to the both of us within the Facebook Live episode. So we recommend tuning in. Next week, we will be tuning in at our traditional time of 1 p.m. But in the meantime, have a great weekend.
All right, guys.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
See you later.
Bye
Bye.
now.